Those who have done their due diligence know that all throughout history, people have gone on and on about controlling reproduction. Not just Plato and the eugenicists either. Hitler talked about controlling the children to control the future, and so on and so forth. At the center of these arguments are conceptions of masculinity. The old saying, the pen is mightier than the sword, and the pen is like a maestro in a symphony, right? Versus a different surgical weapon that has a different use. Perhaps this weapon, I go as far as to say, it is not truly suited for my needs. They do not sell one that is easy to acquire anywhere, that is suited for my hands and my needs. When they say that ass is mine, one way to do that is to set the stage for people like me to not be able to express themselves or compete fairly. That ass is mine refers to men and women, especially when the saying comes from English, ultimately derived from Latin and the Greco-Roman mythology system has everything to do with it. We look at the word game. Game. Gay me, right? Obviously, I'm not gay. I despise the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game, as the saying goes. Well, why don't they hate the game? They keep on playing it. It is basically saying, if you are a man, you will not play the game, you will face the game, and you will face everyone. As Horus, right? Horror meaning face. Face us. Versus the whore face, the goofy face, and all the faces of different types of people in different states of mind that are not facing their enemy with a serious look in their eye. A look that has been greatly reduced in me due to facing the enemy. At this point, I challenge everyone, especially attractive women, to present a courageous, focused, and morally sound response to my sabotaged hero as the ideal man argument, and the idea that especially now, the most attractive women especially should stop at nothing moral to be his lady. Why would you want to settle for some immature sissy who won't even face the game? Because they're afraid of the consequences. Like that is an honorable response. Who, what, when, where, how, why? One must ask themselves when we look at the word play. Black belt, right? The black man, the darkness, cover up the belt of somebody. Who's covering it up? Well, we know there are no intact, true martial arts systems from Africa here in America. It's safe to say that the black man is not. So we must first look toward the blacks for the martial artists. In fact, exclusively, I would argue at this point. That's how far gone these other cultures have brought themselves. So when we look at this thing, okay, the body structure, the infrastructure, the instruction, skeletal structure, construct, instructor, instruction, we must look at the African. Which one? Who, what, when, where, how, why? The hawk. Obviously Egypt. Which one? The first one, Haroeris, the one that united the land, not the con artist bitch. How could anyone miss that? How could anyone who studies Egypt for a moment miss that? They are cowards, and they're talking about a martial arts system. I strongly suggest that they stop. This is not for you to talk about. You are not this kind of martial artist, if a martial artist at all. It is not your place. And martial arts has everything to do with ordering people in the right place for what? The point of life. By who? The man. Which one? Well, let's look at the point of masculinity, which is serving God and the highest principles of good and protecting who, what, when, where, how, why? The spirit. But certainly protecting the women and children. If you are benefiting from the game instead of protecting them, you're not a man. That's why you have the word masculinity. They're putting on a mask, a facade. That's why you have the word manhood. Okay, they're hiding. Me wearing a hooded sweatshirt because you haven't made anything that suits me, okay, that expresses who I am, that fits me, It's not the same as you people hiding like little old bitches, like the old lady in the shoe, like Jiminy Cricket trying to pretend he's a martial artist, having been called out by the Pharaoh. It is not the same thing. Moving on.
Hey, do you want to come get some food?
All right.
We'll go grocery shopping too. Leave in like 5 minutes.
All right. Basically, the U.S. Martial side of the debate versus the martial artists. Now, why say this? Are there any kind of decent U.S. Marshals? I'm sure they're sort of decent outside of the divine order. You know how that goes. But they represent the law, which backwards is the wall. Who, what, when, where, how, why. Versus the true martial artist of Haro Aries, who is at odds with everyone else. He's facing everyone else because they're playing the game. They're a Republican, a Democrat, a feminist, a Christian. All these labels outside of my argument is playing the game. Ever since I was little, I made the argument that a true Christian in this day and age, at least, was a warrior facing his enemies. And he's facing his enemies against all odds. Everyone knew that corrupt, racist white people and Jews and so on, you know, some people knew about the Jews, right? White-looking people controlled the system. And they had various philosophies. And they were able to work together because they're all scum. We all knew that. Since about the 60s, everyone who was interested in history knew that the Nigerian Civil War was the greatest example of a Christian fighting against another philosophy man had ever known. And if you lived during that time and you did not stop at nothing to help them, you're not a Christian. Everyone who uses their heads knows that and knew that then. You should put your hand over your mouth and be silent. Everyone knows you can't listen to the white church. You may as well listen to the Klan or Pee Wee Herman about when the time is. Everyone knows you have to listen to a man who's actually a man of God with heart and courage. And this is not going to be some scientist, Western-looking pussy. No. Everyone knows you must look to the Soul Brothers. When I want to know about how to be a lying con man coward, maybe I'll go to your church or your scientific group or some bitch shit like that. But when I want to know about God and life and love and everything that really matters, I have to ask myself, which African do I go to? And it doesn't take very long to see the difference between a bully and a hawk. Between someone that faces the enemy and someone that builds their body, eating well, profiting from the enemy, right? Profit. Why? Who, what, when, where, how, and why? Heroes, meaning master. Master. Yes, they sabotage. It's right there in the word. Say, so, see, obi, right? Sabotage. The ego. To know their place so you can inflate your ego. So when we look at the ideal masculine man, it is not the sword in the Bible as scripture. That by itself is not enough. If you're saying scripture like a brainwashed idiot to people that don't understand, did you get the point across? No, you have to work on mind, body, and soul. The soul of scripture in truth is the sword of the martial artist. It is a transferable skill from the spoken word to striking effectively. Hitler's spear was not the spirit of God, but of Nazism, of denying the black man his rightful place and then saying from there we will address evil. The communist hammer, Thor's hammer and sickle was not the sword of God or the martial artist. It is more like the sword of Saturn, talking about role reversal and castrating. Castrate. Cast system. Castrate. So again, let us consider the point. The point of masculinity is to serve God through the martial art order. Everything other than that is immaturity. Why couldn't a woman see the difference? Should we expect her to see the difference? Should we expect her to stop at nothing? You know, should we expect her to make the right choice before having sex with someone in a society that has taught her to do just that? Should we expect her to scrutinize her decision carefully? Should we expect her to know better than to just listen completely to their parents? What should we expect from her? Well, God expects her to find her way to people like me and people that serve people like me in the divine order. They know who's the better man and why. You see a lot of people walking like ducks these days with their legs to the side. And they'll probably cripple me more because I said that. Okay? Why? You know, well, it's breeding. We haven't bred toward martial arts, so as a result, we see people not in martial arts shape. Okay? America has sissy martial arts, with all due respect. They don't have the hardcore from another place martial arts, and from there, when it comes to that, the bell that rings the loudest is Igbo. Obi means king in Igbo. Now, as I'm sure you heard earlier, I gotta go soon, so let's just shoot through this. What is the point of sparring? The point of martial arts? The point of manhood versus the Lord of the Flies? They fly around the shit, right? They fly away, they flee. The point of a time, right? The point of reference, the point of the weapon, the point of life, the point of no return, and it goes back to practice, policy. Yeah, I'm coming. Apprentice and game, image, gay, me, quote unquote. Point of dating and marriage. Thank you.